Buonasera a tutti. It is currently 1:46 a.m. Central European Time. The first show of Sanremo has just finished. We heard the 29 competing songs and we are ready to review all of them. It's going to be a long night, but we're ready for it, I hope. Joe?
This is what we sign up for, Irvin, being Euro fans. This is the
True.
eccentricity that we live for. And it falls to me, I think, to give, before I give my impression, just to give a bit of a disclaimer, because like we get comments about this every year. Ultimately, the comments you're about to hear are from three or four, in this case, foreigners who are judging Italian music based on the Scandi music that we're probably more used to and production values that, perhaps jar a little bit with what we expect from Sanremo.
Speak for yourself.
You,
I was about to agree with Sean. Speak for
Speak
yourself.
for yourself.
what I am saying is, if you disagree with us, we are not wrong. We just have a different baseline for how we're judging this. Having said that, it had the usual thrills and spills that you expect from, like, basically the Italian Oscars. Some amazing costumes that probably cost more than you'd earn in a decade. Like, the usual fare of, I'd say Italian's finest were there. Maybe we didn't have the sort of the natural decessor to the likes of Sinceramente or La Noia, but we'll get into it. We had some classics in there.
I'll start with the positives. I loved the shortness of the show. I think we were all very grateful to be able to go to bed at a reasonable time. It flowed very nicely. No ridiculous monologues or being preached at for certain amounts of time. The pacing was very, very good. On the negative side, I felt the song quality was a good 20-30% down on last year. I would mark last year as a high watermark in Sanremo in recent history. So that was a pity, but there's still plenty, as Joe said, there's still plenty of good songs for us to pick over the next hour or so.
Hmm. Well, I didn't think the show was that much shorter than last year. I don't remember it being that much shorter. So for all the hype about, Carlo Conti slicing it in half, mission not accomplished. The song quality I feel like was on par with 2023, which was much less than 2024. And yeah, I mean, yeah, speak for yourself, Joe. I'm about to. I mean, that was a lot of padding for what is about to be some very controversial opinions, I'm guessing. But hey, that's why you come to ESCBubble, right?
That's why we're here. I don't know. I didn't get such an impression that like this edition was like so much worse than let's say last year's because again like this year as well like I found like I don't know 4, 5, 6 songs that I'm happily gonna listen to in the coming months and some of these songs I'm probably gonna listen to like in a year or 2 years time as well. So I didn't really see it as that different. However, this year I do have some pretty low scores as well, which I don't think that I had in Sanremo in the past couple of years. But yeah, we're gonna get into that in a second.
Can I just say one thing though? We cannot
Go for
compare
it.
Sanremo to any other national final because
Yeah.
these songs just dropped. So like I'm really, really struggling with some songs
We're,
not because they're bad, but because I've just listened to them. Like this is the first impression I
we're,
have of them.
we're all reaching past a saturation at this point, I think, is the problem.
We
we need to eat
haven't
something.
had the experience of Spotify streams for these songs yet. So maybe that's why the quality feels less.
But we're all basing this on our first impressions because, as I mentioned before, we just heard the songs for the first time during the show, and yeah, most of these songs were not written for Eurovision. Most of these songs were just like the next singles or like the next big hits of these particular artists. Except I did feel like 1 or 2 songs were maybe like specifically written for Eurovision, and like that was the purpose of them entering to Sanremo. But we're gonna get to that. Tonight, we're going to talk about the acts in the running order as they perform tonight. So we are going to start with Gaia, who performed Chiamo io chiami tu. And let's start with Sean. Sean, what did you think about this one?
I had a lot of expectations from Gaia because she had the song of the summer, 2024, Se Soy Samba with Tony Effe, who's also competing. I have to admit, it kind of let me down. I listened to this song twice, one of the very few songs that I listened to twice, and I feel like it's going to be the one that the Twitter fans, the international fans on Twitter, they're going to kind of get into. I feel like it tried to emulate the success of Sinceramente, but it falls short. I don't know. I need to give this a hefty, like, I need to get used to this, but based on first impression, I was not blown away.
Out of 10, Shaun.
7.
I'll go with a 6. Nick?
8 from me.
Joe?
High impact, 9.
Well, it's quite a strong start. 30 points for Gaia. Next up, we're going to have Francesco Gabbani with Viva la Vita. Joe, what did you think about this one?
So, I mean, I was taken a little bit by surprise by the hefty production value that went on during Gaia's performance. So I was kind of in a bit of a state of shock going into Gabbani's performance. And, you know, it was going bam, 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 bam at the start. So I barely had a chance to breathe. But I am lucky that I was in the safe hands of Francesco Gabbani, who is an absolute Italian music legend, and he's basically incapable of writing a bad song. I mean, he was always going to, you know, have a hard time after that performance, but like this was a lovely sort of semi-waltz sort of tribute to the beauty of life, you know, of the type we can expect from, you know, any of Gabbani's albums. Bit later in the night, it might have made me shed a tear, but you know, it was early on. I just had my pasta. I wasn't feeling a lot. It's no Occidentalis Karma, but you know, nothing will ever be that good. He feels every word he sings. You feel he's got one of those voices where you just feel all the emotions in it. And like, I think with a few more listens, you know, this is going to be a radio mainstay in Italy, I think.
All of you watching, I think you can start a drinking game every time Joe mentions pasta. It's going to work.
It's a Fanta Sanremo score.
Well, for me, this was the weakest song that Francesco Gabbani has competed with in Sanremo. So I sort of disagree with you, Joe. But anyways, let's put that into points. Out of 10, Joe?
It's an 8.
Shaun?
7.
For me, this is only a 4. Nick?
6.
25 for Francesco. The third act is Rkomi with Il ritmo delle cose. Nick?
Yeah, overall, I really like Rkomi's performance. The verses, at first I thought I wasn't going to sort of really get into the song, but the chorus is really extremely catchy, and it was like very memorable and was stuck in my head. For its competitiveness in this year, I don't think it'll be making much of a mark. Obviously, we've seen the top 5 from tonight already, and the press reviews were a mixed bag. But yeah, I was pretty keen on it really, and I was you know, I was really pleased that, you know, the song had such a good catchy hook for us to latch onto. But yeah, it was, for the standard of tonight, it would probably be in my top 10.
It was a very pleasant surprise, actually, for me as well. Yeah. Out of 10, Nick?
7.
Joe?
Dull, buy a shirt, 5.
Shaun?
That's how you know it's a good song. It's an 8.
I'm with Shaun on this one. It's an 8 for me as well. That scores him 28 and puts him in second place right now. The fourth one performing tonight, it was Noemi with Se ti innamori muori. And I'm going to take this one because I absolutely love Noemi. And I feel that like the color of her voice is just so special. And if you heard it on the radio, you would instantly recognize her just by her voice, like literally any of her songs. I just really wish that she finally comes to Sanremo with something different. All of her Sanremo songs to me sound more or less the same, or like the continuation of her previous entry, and I need this to stop. It was still a decent song, don't get me wrong, but like I feel that like it's getting a little bit old. She's going to perform any song amazingly, and she has so much power to offer every single time. So one time when she finally comes with something different and something like much better, she's actually going to be having a shot at winning. I genuinely do feel that, because this song, once again, it just isn't it. It's good, but that's where it stops for me. I started scoring as well, so I'm going to give this one a 6. Nick?
I don't wish to demean our wonderful Italian viewers and readers, but that cigarette voice is not for me. 5.
That's what I love about it.
Oh gosh.
Joe?
You hear cigarettes, I hear unique power. This is a 9.
Nice. Shaun?
6.
That is 26 for Noemi, and that puts her into
Sponsored
third
by
place.
Benson and Hedges.
And probably some sort of pasta, right, Joe?
Let's not get into that.
All right. The eternal favorite, Irama, is up next with Lentamente. Joe?
Oh, the eternal choir boy who just didn't grow up. My God. I mean, it took me a little bit by surprise when he came down the stairs dressed like a sort of a disheveled Sergeant Pepper, like until the final chorus when he donned his plumber's gear for some reason. I mean, talk about fashion faux pas tonight. I think Irama would be ranking pretty high on that list. Like, he performed a song like aptly with sort of overtones of like a sort of a Let It Be kind of rock ballad with his signature sort of, auto-tune, piped-in echo. It sounds like he's singing in about 10 different places at once. I mean, there was nothing wrong with this, but like, I feel like we've seen the best from Irama with La Genesi del tuo colore in 2021, which is like, it's still one of my favorite Italian songs of all time. I just think this sort of she's not that into you sort of phase, it just leaves like a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. And also, I think his voice sounds a little bit moany, like more moany every year. But I did like the guitar solo.
Not just more money, more auto-tuned as well every year.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he has more to moan about lately.
That'll be the cigarettes, maybe. No, the wrong artist.
Yeah.
All right, Lentamente out of 10. Joe?
5.
Shaun?
7.
This is only a 3 for me, I'm afraid. Nick?
I'm over auto-tune from the whole thing. 5.
You people are going to be in trouble with Isaac.
Sorry,
I
Isaac.
can take it. He's probably not even watched the show. He's just gonna. He's on shift. He's gonna catch up tomorrow, and he's only
Yep.
gonna watch the music videos.
And we're probably going to be in trouble with all of Irama's fans as well if they're watching, because he only scored 20 points and is currently
It's
in last
not their
place.
fans I'm worried about.
All right, we continue with Come Cose and Cuorcini. Shaun?
I don't usually like Komakose so much, but I feel like this could be their best Sanremo entry to date. I think it came after like the first 4 or 5. It was like the MESC running order, big favorites opening Sanremo, and none of them really did much, in my opinion. And then Komakose came, and maybe because I had no expectations, I liked their entry pretty much more than any one of those first few songs. So yeah, it's a good song. I'm expecting Twitter to be on meltdown though, because of the white face. Twitter would be in meltdown because wasn't her face painted white?
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
wasn't the performance I was thinking of. I don't. Oh no, yeah, it was.
Komakose.
It feels like 3 nights ago. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
Wasn't
we'll be
that long of a
checking.
show, Joe.
But yeah,
No, it's an efficient production.
it's all right. It's all right. I don't think it's gonna win, but it's all right.
I agree. I do think that they overdid the makeup a little bit as it was slightly distracting, but like still, I completely agree. This is by far their best song in Sanremo so far. Out of 10. Shaun?
7.
I'll go one more. I'll give it an 8. Nick?
The opposite of a coma. 9.
Joe?
TikTok dance from your neighbours who are always arguing. It's an 8.
32 points for Come Cose, and this puts them in the lead. We have one of the top 5 of the press jury coming up next. It's Simone Cristicchi with Quando sarai piccola. Nick?
Where do I start? I'm obviously very aware of its high praise from the press tonight in their ranking. Their press reviews are very strong for this, so obviously had some high expectations for this. Now I understand. I don't speak a word of Italian, well, apart from the basics, but I understand this is a very like sentimental, emotional song. obviously I don't really understand a word of it. To me, it was 3 minutes of however long of pure hell. To be honest with you, I hated every moment of it. It's just horrible. The fact that it's even near the top 5 horrifies me. That we may have to listen to this again in Basel. My God, please, Italian televoters, radio who come in later into this, please save us from this. It's just 3 minutes of drivel. It's really, really it's just I hope somebody will explain this to me, and I'm very sorry if I've upset anybody who's watching this thinking that horrible man, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'm more than happy. Leave me a comment in the comments and tell me exactly why this song.
Oh, they're coming. Those comments are coming.
Tell me.
Uncultured British man.
It was. Oh no, not for me.
4 foreigners trying to make sense of Italian music. 101.
Yeah, I played up to your stereotype.
Nick, these comments are coming quicker than you thought. I felt that like Simone really took us on a journey here. It started as like a spoken story, developed into something like very, very emotional. It felt so genuine and it felt so honest that like I thought that like no one can remain indifferent, like unless you're Nick. He didn't move on stage like during the entire song, but I feel like he didn't even need to because the performance was simply amazing. It was so captivating. At the same time, it was like extremely classy. It was so powerful, and like I was hoping that like he was going to finish in the top 5, and I'm really, really glad that he did. The audience loved it. There was like a massive standing ovation after the performance. There was also one during the song, and I felt like it was absolutely deserved. I'm not entirely sure like whether I would play this song like let's say on my Spotify or something, but I would gladly look it up on YouTube whenever, and I would watch the live performance because it was just like so much stronger that way, I feel. And again, like it was just so genuine and yeah, definitely like one of my favorites. And all of you Italian people, just don't listen to Nick and just definitely vote for this.
Yeah, I agree with
I think-
Evan.
I think I need to like listen to this on Spotify to feel something, because reading the lyrics made me choke up, but like the song made me feel nothing.
You should try, Joe. Yeah, I agree.
How long have we got?
So Lucas Boone over this.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Well, let's score Quando sarai piccola out of 10. Nick.
Well, it definitely made me choke too.
Joe?
This is what you want. Something about his mum. It's a 4.
Oh, you Brits. Shaun?
You people are the ones being referred to in Samantha Mumba's Instagram post when she said the things about the aubergines. It's a 9 from me. You're gonna choke.
And they get so many comments.
Well, I
Oh,
think this
God.
absolutely deserves a 10.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
I'm listening to this immediately afterwards and telling you if I feel anything, because I feel like I'm missing out on whatever Italy was on tonight.
You definitely are.
Just like, please like my song. Just like, I want to feel something.
All right, well, that is 25 for Simone, and that puts him in 5th place right now, and I blame Nick for that. Marcella Bella is up next with Pelle Diamante. Shaun?
I really like this. I really, really like this. I feel like it was the Fiorella Manoia surprise of last year. I feel the song has a great rhythm. I feel like the production was really, really 2025, even though Marcella Bella is, I think, in her 70s, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Italian septuagenarian womanizer was what
Wow.
I commented.
yeah. This is so every year in Sanremo, I don't want to call them a hag because they're much more classy than a hag, but I have like a pensioner in my top 5, and I think Marcella
clutch
Bella is
hag.
going to be what's a clutch hag?
Like a clutch bag, but a hag.
Ah,
It's 2 a.m.
It's a British thing.
whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna call her a pensioner. Is that okay? I mean, it's a pensioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this.
An
I thought it was
experienced
really good.
artist.
A veteran. A veteran.
There we
There
go.
we go.
But it's always a lady for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, I love it. I'm gonna be probably contributing to 50% of its Spotify streams. And yeah, this is probably gonna do absolutely nothing, but I'm here for it.
Put that into points, Shaun.
8.
For me, this is a 6. Nick?
Now, this is the song the Ariston Theatre should have given a standing ovation to. 8.
Joe?
Let's go, girls. It's an 8.
I'm so surprised. Okay. Okay,
I'm
Joe.
not. I'm not.
I love my hags.
Another act that finished in the top 5 is up next, and that is Achille Lauro with Incoscienti Giovani. Joe?
So this is a song that I'm going to be uncontrollably obsessed with, and nobody is going to know why. So I knew that Achille Lauro going into Sanremo this year had this side because I am just like obsessed with his very recent like Boss Doms era back catalogue, and like he has songs like Sedici Marzo and C'est la Vie that absolutely tap into this sort of like more sentimental side to his singing. But I think this will have come as a lot of it, like as a surprise to a lot of viewers of Sanremo who are probably not as familiar with that. Like he arrives in full Phantom of the Opera get up to sort of croon his way through this really string heavy ballad about like the foibles of young love. And it's like, it's almost giving sort of Tananai Tango, but like even up a level from that. And like, then you think that you've seen everything. And then suddenly there's a sax player. Like, who knew that Achille Lauro was so into sax? Like, Achille Lauro has unlocked a new level, and I'm absolutely here for it. Like, he's come in the top 5 just now, and like for me, this might be the one.
Who knew Achille Lauro was so much into sex? The Italian viewers will understand me. Chiara Ferragni.
Yeah, we know she watches our videos.
The Italians will understand me. It's a joke for them.
Yeah, this was a really pleasant surprise for me. Obviously, last time we saw Achille, he was riding his bull, and now he's coming on all tucked up, looking very, very swish. Joe's right; he's got some great songs. "Stupidi Ragazzi" is a Achille song I really like. A bit of a bop. Go check that one out if you haven't heard it. It's just a really nice change of pace from him, and it was very subtle. It was very intimate. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm not surprised it finished top 5. The press in this case showed a lot of taste, and I approve of their top 5 ranking here, unlike some of the other songs that we'll come on to later. But yeah, this is great. I really enjoyed it, and I've got real high expectations for this. It's great to see it potentially in the running.
Well, let's put that into points. Joe?
And it's a solid 9.
Shaun?
7.
It's going to be a 9 for me as well. Nick?
I feel like I've underscored it now. 7.
All right. 32 for Achille Lauro, and that puts him tied for first place. Giorgia is up next with La Cura per Me. I don't know about you guys, but I feel that Giorgia can do no wrong. Like, she always comes with something super classy, something beautiful, and maybe a little bit dated, but you just don't care about that part. This song was just like so Giorgia, and I don't know, it was delivered beautifully. She gave us like the right amount of power. She sung it perfectly, like with a lot of emotion. And like again, I wasn't surprised for a single second that like she received like a standing ovation as well from the crowd at the end of her performance. Not entirely sure like whether this would bother the very, very top of the scoreboard at the end of the final night, but I feel that it should. Even if it doesn't, like this was still an absolutely beautiful performance and a really, really good song, in my opinion.
This is excellent. I didn't care so much for Georgia's last song in Sanremo. I thought it was, now for me to call a Sanremo song dated, it has to be literally like from the 1910s. That song was dated. But I still liked it, of course, because it's me. This one, no, this is much better. Georgia looked amazing. I feel like the song builds beautifully. The progression actually lends itself to some really nice, simple paired backstaging in Basel. I'm not obviously I don't watch Sanremo with Eurovision in mind, being a Maltese person. However, this is probably, I think, I remember last year thinking, Angelina Mango will be the one we will have to settle for because Annalisa won't get such a high televote and Irama maybe won't get such a high press jury mark, and obviously Jolier did not get much press and everything else except televote. So we kind of
He
had
just
to,
had a free panini.
yeah, we just had to settle for Angelina Mango. And I think we might have to settle for Georgia this year if, I feel like Georgia is not the winner of the press vote. And I think the one that won will not win the televote or the other, or do we still have the demos? No, we have a radio jury now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think, whatever. I think we're gonna have to settle for Georgia. And I'm happy with that. And if you want me to drop a score, it's a 10.
Oh. So that was a
Well-
very roundabout 10 there, Sean. I love it.
It's a
You
10.
had us guessing the whole time.
I'll continue that with a 9. Nick,
Yeah, classy, but as you said, dated at 7.
Joe?
I've given it an 8.
That is 34 for Georgia, and that puts her in first place. After 10 songs, let's take a look at our top 5. In first place, we have Giorgia with 34 points, and we have a tie for second place between Achille Lauro and Comacose with 32. Gaia and Marcella Bella complete our top 5. Willie Peyote is up next with Grazie ma no grazie. Sean,
Grazie, ma no grazie. There is no better way how I can round this up. Grazie, ma no grazie. Thank you, but no thank you. I mean, what else do you want me to say? I didn't like it.
Is that it?
Yeah, the song she had in 2021 was amazing.
Mm.
This one, thank you, but no thank you. I didn't like it at all.
I agree. Like, I love My Dire Mai, and that's a song that I still have in my playlist that I still listen to quite often, actually. And I was also like super excited about Willie Peyote being back, but I agree with Sean. Like, grazie, ma no
Grazie,
grazie.
ma no grazie.
Let's score it then out of 10. Sean,
5.
you're a lot more generous then. For me, this
Sanremo,
is
it's my kind of music.
okay, fair enough. For me, this is only a 3. Nick,
Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well. Naff.
Joe,
We're continuing the theme of me like absolutely raving about the sort of the Miami balcony soundy songs because I've given this one an 8. Like I got lost in the beat of this one. I really liked it.
what was it
I'm
that
not
you liked so much about it?
It was, a bit of slap bass. It was a bit, it was a bit
Everything,
funky.
everything. Don't bother. It's Joe.
He's a competent rapper,
Of course.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a little bit. We have Francesco Gabbani at home, but like
Yeah.
everything else was fine.
Yeah.
Well, 19 points for Willie Peyote, and that puts him in last place right now. Rose Villain was up next with Fuorilegge. Nick,
So we get to a song now that I can completely overrate, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks because
Oh,
it was
God.
fantastic. It was obviously we saw Rose last year with Click Boom, which is a very competent introduction, I thought, to the contest. But this was a step up. It was fantastic. She's got so much like fantastic stage presence, so much sass on stage. And the use of the red colours as well, in that costume. She owned that stage. She was fantastic. I knew this is the sort of thing. It's far too modern and enjoyable for the Italian press to even get their teeth around. But for me, as a basic pop girly lover, this is exactly what I want to see more of in Sanremo. And there was far too little of this tonight, so I loved it.
Girly bops and hags. That's your level, isn't it?
That's it.
I felt like this song was written for like a Romanian national final in like 2016, and it would have been sung by Xandra, and it would finish like 6th. So I didn't really see it like do that well in Sanremo, and I wasn't surprised this wasn't in the top 5. Sorry, Nick.
Oh, I
But-
wasn't surprised either.
Let's score it out of 10. Nick,
9 from me.
Joe,
I couldn't get over the fact that she was dressed like Thing 1 and Thing 2 from Cat in the Hat. I've given this a 7.
Sean.
Listen, apart from the fact that she stole Loredana Berte's box dye, this is an absolute 10. This is amazing.
An
Yes,
absolute 10.
I'm on Team Nick. I
I
absolutely
love
love
Sean.
this.
I'll give it half what Shaun gave it. I'll give it a 5. And with 31 points, Rose Villain is in 3rd place. Olly was up next with Ballora Nostalgia. This was a huge change from his previous Sanremo entry, from Polvere, and this was something I really did not expect. I expected again like a super fun, upbeat, modern track, and like I got a super powerful ballad performed with like a lot of emotion. And the thing that he kept from his last year's, sorry, not last year's, from his previous Sanremo entry was the auto tune. And you can actually hear why he needs it in the live performance. He really, like, I don't know, he really puts all that he has into that performance, and it really came across like very nicely on screen. I just really hope that like he works on his vocals, he loses the auto tune, and that he is going to be able to perform this song like the way he should, because it is a great song, and I can see him do like much better than he did with Polvere this year. And I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Nick?
He's handsome and I like the tattoos. 6.
All right. Joe?
Surprised that Julie had a writing credit on this one because I think he can do a bit better, but it's still a 7. I think I've overmarked this one, to be honest.
Sean?
The only Polvere I like is the one in Estonia, and her name is Laura. This is a 6.
You've been waiting so long to say that, haven't you, Sean?
I swear to God, I made it up in the last 10 seconds.
Another big fan favorite is up next. It's Elodie with Dimenticarsi alle sette. Joe, I can see Nick bopping already to
this
this.
was, oh my God, this was so special, and it's not going to win, and that annoys me so much because
It doesn't annoy me.
I ascended to a new level. I was actually out. I was at uni the night that Elodie first performed Andromeda, so I actually had to catch up on that performance later. And everyone would say, "Oh my God, this is amazing! Like, I need to hear it." And like, you know, I really enjoyed it. It is the kind of Italo house pop that I absolutely like. But I like, seeing a solar eclipse like in person rather than just being told about it. I got to witness this for the first time, and I can put aside everything that I'd heard about this song going into this, the sort of the press murmurings and like the rumors that it was going to be awful. This was very, very classy. Like the linguini strapped silver dress was on point. She always looks so chic when she performs. Like she barely moves on stage, but she just gets out these massive power notes. And the beat was just like Stardust wasn't even on this track, but it felt like whoever had put it together was very, very accomplished. And like I'm this is going to be a number one with Euro fans. I think it's not quite on the level of a Sinceramente, but like this is a natural successor to that sort of style. And we're going to be hearing a lot of this from disheveled Euro fans over the next few months.
Well, I agree on 2 things that Joe said. First of all, she looked absolutely stunning. And the second one, Eurovision fans are going to love this. But I feel that like this was a little bit too simple comparing it to her previous entries in Sanremo. And when I spoke at the beginning of this review, I said that like I feel that a couple of songs here were written purposely for Eurovision. This one is absolutely one of those.
Mate, this is a Eurovision fan site. I think that's why we like it.
I mean, it's my Eurovision fan site, and I don't like it. But still, like, she looked absolutely gorgeous, and her vocals really like shine through, and that's what made this song a little better for me than it actually is. And I completely agree. Like, this is going to be played in the Euro Club regardless of what happens in Sanremo, if it wins or if it doesn't win. But like, I'm pretty sure it's not going to win, and deservedly so. Elodie is an amazing artist, and I'm always happy to see her back in Sanremo, but every single time that she came back with something worse. So I still look for the day when she comes back with something that's going to be like so good that she's actually going to be in it to win it. But this time she just is not. Out of 10 for Elodie. Joe.
You really put me in my place there, Evan. That was a very good comeback. This is my first 10 of the night. It was a
Oh, wow.
long time coming, but it's here.
Shaun.
Who knew that there could be a song that Joe Bleasdale and myself could agree about? It's an 8.
Once in every blue moon.
Was every blue moon.
For me, this is only a 6. Nick.
Italy, please stop doing this beautiful, talented woman dirty. She's amazing. 9.
She is, but the song isn't.
Oh,
It's not her best song. Come on now. I think
There's
it's
no
better
Andromeda.
than doing.
it's no.
No, I think it's better than Do It, but it's not Andromeda.
Let's continue with Shablo featuring Gue, Joshua, and Tormento. La mia parola. Nick.
Well, I'll start with the positive, which will take about 10 seconds. It was good for genre diversity in a full Sanremo field. But apart from that, it was just a horrendous performance with like really bad rapping. The song wasn't particularly engaging at all. I don't really have much more to say about it. I'll just do a quick one like Shaun did earlier because I just really just didn't enjoy it at all. But I did give it a half decent score just for the fact that it was different. But apart from that, yeah, bin it.
I actually love a good rap song in Sanremo, but unfortunately, like this wasn't it.
Yeah.
What baffles me is that these are like Due is amazing. Like he guests on like all the big artists, and like here he is, like basically going, "I've got my money. I'm in New York City." I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
La mia parola. Out of 10. Nick.
3.
Joe.
A lot of money for very little. It's a 3.
Shaun.
5.
I don't give a lot of 2s, but this for me is a 2. And that scores them only 13 points, which puts them into last place. Massimo Ranieri was up next with Tra le mani un cuore. And I'll start by saying that Massimo's vocals were just absolutely impressive. The power in his voice and like the way that he manages to control it all the time is just like, wow. But when it comes to, bless you, when it comes to the song, like I feel that like, I don't know, he was trying to like tell us a story, but not only to tell us a story, but to like, in a way, like force us to learn it. And I wasn't really up for learning it, to be honest. Like the sax also that was added into the song was something that I felt like was a little bit like out of place. And even though
Don't
the
diss
song,
the sax.
sorry, Joe, it really sounded out of place. And like even though like the song was quite dramatic, which is something that I normally like, it just failed to reach me. Like I don't know, he was impressive, the song was not. Yeah. Joe, you can now tell me off for the sax.
I'm just loving the sax. They were obsessed with sax this year. It's like they're trying to sort of like whitelist themselves from like the disaster that was Eurovision '91. But I still have flashbacks to that glorious sax solo in the Greek entry that just like sort of coughed at the end. This was pure. This was yeah.
Well, let's score it out of 10. I'll start with a 5. Nick?
An impressive lack of grey hair for a man his age, but 2 for the song.
Wow. Joe?
He's a legend. I've given this an 8.
Shaun?
4.
That's 19 points for the legend, for Massimo Ranieri. Tony Effe is up next with Damme una mano. Nick?
Yeah, Tony Effe. Not particularly a fan of this one. Good-looking chap, but nice white suit from what I remember. But his vocals were very poor. I thought one of the worst vocals of the night, performance-wise. And the song, well, I don't know. I was expecting something a bit more modern from him. It was just a bog-standard, run-of-the-mill Sanremo song you get every year, and it just didn't really differentiate itself from the pack. So I was really disappointed by it. So yeah, it wasn't one of my favourites tonight. Let's put it that way.
The only thing I liked about this was like at the very beginning, those like first 5 or 6 seconds with like the Spanish guitar. I thought that was like amazing start, and then it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
For me, it was giving coffee advert, like with the sepia. Why did they use sepia? Like, I like the visual effects, but this was just like, this was so out of place.
Damme una mano. Out of 10. Nick?
A 3 from me.
Joe?
You could say I need Ipu because this is a number 2.
Shaun?
You people are savage. Or maybe I'm just being generous because it's Sanremo. It's a 7.
For me, this is only a 4. Serena Brancale is up next with Anima e Cuore. Shaun?
Again, I don't know how old she is, but she's going into my veterans category. She's probably super young, right? This is a song that my friends on the group chat and I were like, this is so exotic. It almost sounds Brazilian, Portuguese. And in a way, I kind of wish this is the song that Gaia brought to Sanremo. Gaia is half Brazilian, and her previous entry, Quaramaro? Yeah, Quaramaro. Yeah, that one was so much better than the one she has this year, in my opinion. But anyway, back to Serena or whoever she is. Yeah, I love this. I loved the air drumming. I loved the instrumentals. She was really, really having a blast on stage. Reminded me a little bit of Big Mama last year, not in terms of vocals. So it was just you could see the joy in her face that this woman is finally on the Sanremo stage. And I am absolutely here for it. I really, really hope the televote gets to push this at least in the top 25, knowing how Sanremo works.
I think you've just confirmed that's why it's not Gaia's song, Sean. It's because she can't play the electro bongos and the foot kazoo. Like, you know,
Yeah, that's what that's like.
she was having a one-man band a one queen band, if you will, during this performance. You know, it was like she was busking in Dora, but like at the same time performing at Sanremo, you know, and the song absolutely was anything but one man band sort of, you know, country dirge. It was a bit karaoke, it was a bit samba, it was a bit of all right. I mean, the fact that she had a very natural smile was something that I think probably because she was just enjoying the performance so much, but like at times it meant that like her vocal wasn't always the strongest, but like I think if anything that was kind of a bit more endearing because I've talked on this about like I quite like songs that sort of sound like they're homemade, and I think this had like an element of that sort of Festival de Cancel sort of Gambiarra style of songwriting. Like from the first when she just like yelled that first word, I was hooked, and I was like, you know, I'm just buying into whatever you were telling me tonight. And it's probably going to come with Lavazza at the end, and I'll be happy with that. I'm defo dancing to this one in the bathroom, like when we finish recording in my red crop top. Like I'm playing the bongos. It's 2 a.m.
Oh, God.
I'm mentally scarred.
All right. Anima e Cuore, out of 10. Shaun?
9.
So I can't get that mental image now out of my head, Joe. For me,
I
this
think
is
it
an
was.
8.
I'll save you time, Evan. I think it was an 8.
Nick?
What a wonderful surprise. So she has one fan, it is now me, an 8.
After I got that mental image out of my head, we can continue with the next tag that also finished in the top 5 with the juries in tonight's show. And that is Brunori Sas with L'Albero delle Noci. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. Nick?
Continuing your very kind theme, Irving, of giving me all the stinkers from the top 5 tonight review. Here's another one. I mean, obviously, this one didn't get a round of applause. So I had hopes that it wouldn't make the top 5. It didn't get a standing ovation, so I did obviously get a round of applause. It's another one I just don't get. It's just, I guess it's so Sanremo. It floats over my head, I'm afraid. It was just 3 minutes. I couldn't even tell you what he was wearing, guys, because I was so bored by the whole thing. And then, you know, I just know he's a man of older years. That's probably all I can tell you about this song. I can't even tell you how it goes, how to hum it. I'm really pleased for the Italian press that they love it so much. Obviously, I saw their rankings beforehand, so I expected it. And what a disappointment again they served me. So another egg laid, I'm afraid.
Nate, you'll like this. That when I was writing down the scores earlier, I would like to save time. I was just writing people's initials, so he's BS. I don't know if you resonate with that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I'm prepared for some more hate mail on this. Bring it on.
Oh no, absolutely, it's coming. I can see it. Like, if they got past all the corpsing.
Brunori Sas, out of 10. Nick?
2.
Joe?
10 for the lyrics, 5 for the song, unfortunately.
So that's a
The
5.
average is?
It's a 5.
Okay. Shaun?
5.
It's a 4 for me.
Hang on a minute. I have to bring this up. So 10 for the lyrics, 5 of the song. But the defense for Lucas Boone was it has great lyrics, 9.
He also had a good song and he had a lovely voice.
Well, wasn't endorsed by Benidorm Fest, I see.
Moda are up next with Non Ti Dimentico. Joe?
I'm talking about this one. Right. Well, good news. I like Moda. I know that they are the daddest of dad rock since Snow Patrol probably did a collaboration with Kasabi, and I don't know, but Simone, their lead singer, like he has this kind of unique enough voice and sort of style that's also very accessible if you're not an Italian speaker. Like you sort of like that sort of mod rock style. I really like whenever they go to Sanremo, they always have really nice synergy between the band and the orchestra, which as a classical musician, I'm always very happy to see. The chorus is going to get stuck in your head whether you like it or not. It's very repetitive. It's not too repetitive, but kind of in a way that it just about qualifies as an earworm. You can sort of feel the pain in his voice. However basic this is, I was waving my hands during this performance. I was getting into it. I'm low-key vibing with this one. I know it's probably going to come like 27th, but they're a good bunch of lads.
I mean, I normally like these rock songs, but I just completely missed the part where like this got stuck in my head because like I can't even hum the tune of it whatsoever. Anyways, Non Ti Dimentico out of 10. Joe?
It's an 8.
Shaun?
It's not Non Ti Dimentico, it's Dimentico. It's a 5.
It's a 5 for me as well. Nick?
I felt the pain in his voice. I just felt the pain too.
Wow.
I'm in Spain. The S is silent.
20 points for Moda. Giorgia is still in the lead with 34 points. Elodie and Simona Brancale are tied for second place with 33. And Achille Lauro and Comacose complete our current top 5. Clara is going to be up next with Febbre. Nick?
Clara, what a wonderful return. I mean, obviously, last year was her debut, and that was a fantastic song as well. And she stepped up again this year. Her confidence, her stage presence is really impressive for someone who hasn't been, at Sanremo for very long. Whatever, she's serving canta or whatever the Italian word is. But whatever it is, I loved. I was buying it, whatever she was selling. It was fantastic. This is a really modern, fresh. It will be a big streamer for her, I'm sure. I don't think she's at the point of her Sanremo career where she's going to be in contention. But I wrote down in my notes earlier, she could be a future Sanremo winner because she's got that X factor. Sorry to use a pun of another show, but she really is that good. And with the right song, with the she may have to like tone it down a bit because obviously she's very, her sort of her EDM, electronic style is not going to be for everybody in Italy. But I feel, her time is coming, and I'd send her out personally. But I can wait. I can be patient. Clara, your time will come, girl.
I think it won't surprise anyone that Dardust had some writing credits on this song because it is just like him through and through, like all of the effects. Like it's like if you asked like an AI bot to write a Stardust song and this came out, like it's never going to go wrong. I think the only reason he's not writing more this year is because he's doing all of his other classical stuff and like he's got his tour and everything. But like, there's always a place in my heart for that guy, and divas alike.
He's fantastic. I know he was on the piano for Giovanotti tonight.
He
as well.
was, yeah.
Very versatile.
I still think that like the best song that he ever wrote was Eden for Rancore. I absolutely love that song.
Bravo.
But back to Clara, like Clara did nowhere near as good as she deserved last year with Diamanti Grezzi. It's an amazing song, and to my huge surprise, like I actually heard that song here in Hungary like a couple of times in the radio, which was like super surprising because like we don't even broadcast Sanremo or anything like that. And I was really happy to see that like she was back again in Sanremo this year, and to hopefully claim a better result than what she had last year. And she came back once again with like an amazing upbeat track. The song builds up very nicely. The strings after the chorus and like before the bridge sound really good, and Clara sings this beautifully. However, where I disagree with Nick is that I actually lacked some stage presence, because she still looks a little bit lost on that stage. And I just hope that like, obviously like that comes with experience of like live performing, etc. So I do hope that like she gets it right, like in a couple of years time or during her next participation. This song doesn't really beat Diamanti Grezzi for me, but I really enjoyed this one as well. And I think that like this might grow on me like as the week goes on and as we keep hearing this song. But yeah, we'll see. Out of 10 for Febre. Nick?
9 from me.
Joe?
The only thing that's stopping this being a 10 is the copy and pasted cello intro from last year. This is a solid 9.
Shaun?
I mean, I have to watch this back because I really didn't think it was that good. And I'm with you on Diamanti Grezzi being amazing. But I heard it once. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Last year I scored Gali in 22nd place before I got into it and put him fourth. This is a 6 for now.
Well, for me, this is going to be an 8. And
Is it
that's...
really that good?
You'll see when you hear it again then.
Might have missed it.
Yeah. 32 points for Clara. Next up, we have another act that finished in the top 5 with the press jury, and it's Lucio Corsi with Volevo essere un duro. Nick?
Oh, yeah, another wonderful song. This one surprised me the most, actually. The staging was bizarre. The lead looked like he was trying to replicate Achille Lauro during one of his face painting phases, but he looked like Achille Lauro on Ozempic. I just didn't like his look at all. The song is horrible. It was really dated and just completely unenjoyable. Again, I just don't know. Whatever the Italian press is smoking, can I have some? Because I'm just not feeling you guys.
It's Noemi cigarettes.
I was going to say, yeah, give me 40 of your best, because I obviously have not smoked enough of your favourite Baccy. So, yeah, not for me, I'm afraid. And again, why is it in the top 5? Tell me in the comments.
Again, I'm going to say now they will.
Thanks. Grazie.
Another one of the songs that is going to put Twitter into meltdown because of the white face. It does nothing else. It does nothing else. I kind of expected this to be in the top 5. I don't know. Maybe because in Malta we consume Sanremo, we kind of know what to expect, especially with the press voting. And the press voting is the most bizarre of all 3 components. Yeah, this one, no, I'm with Nick. This is Achille Lauro on Ozempic. It looked creepy. It looked weird. It almost looked as creepy as Fedez's black contact lenses. Yeah, he yeah, he
We're gonna
was
get
looking
to that.
straight into the camera with those black contact lenses that made his eyes look like minstrels. What can I say about this? Grazie, ma non grazie.
Lucio Corsi out of 10. Nick?
2 from me.
Joe?
5, slightly more generous.
Shaun?
I was too generous here. It's a 4.
I'm gonna be equally generous with Shaun. It's a 4 for me as well. And that's then 15 points for Lucio Corsi. Fedez is up next with Battito. Joe?
This was an open book for me. I genuinely did not. I just don't know what to expect from Fedez on his own these days. But like, I kind of wasn't surprised with the package we got in the end. Like, you know, and it was very down the line for him. It was highly competent. You know, there's a reason he is one of the most followed musicians in Italy. You know, he is one of the best in the business when it comes to just like spitting bars, and that's clearly where he is most comfortable. And then followed by heartfelt yet sort of quite heavily auto-tuned choruses that just didn't really deliver the promise of the build, like the very bassy build, and then you just get this really sort of tinny chorus. And like, he's spoken a lot about what the lyrics mean to him, and I know there's like a deeper message about, like, you know, sort of men's mental health that, you know, is very important. And I think, you know, it does tap into a lot of the very serious issues that he has in a lot of his songs, and generally I think his heart is in the right place. But like, it's the kind of trap that he does best, but sometimes it is best to know when to shut your trap, or just when to open it in the right place, you know. Yeah, it was good enough.
Was this a reference to his last time being in Sanremo when he wasn't competing, or?
I don't even know what it's a reference to. I'm sure the Italians will read into it, but I'm just talking about Sanremo here.
Okay. Well, put that into points, Joe.
I've given this a 7. I'm not ready to give up on it yet.
Shaun?
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like there's something there that's gonna latch onto me. But yeah, mm-mm. Fedez, we need to sort things out. And by the way, the song is obviously about Chiara Ferragni. It's a 7.
I gave up on this one immediately. It's a 5. Nick?
Odd composition, but rather compelling. 6.
25 points for Fedez. Bresh is up next with La Tana del Granchio. Shaun?
Bresh is definitely sounding fresh. And yes, I took that from the Joe Bleasdale Book of Rhymes. I kind of like this. Yeah, I kind of like this. It's, I feel like it's one of those songs that I- something in me this year feels like Sanremo has started a new chapter. Obviously, a new artistic director, but even with the songs, I feel like it's not quite what I usually get, and I'm a little bit unsure of most of the songs. When I listened to this one, it kind of took me back to the more recent Sanremo. I'm not quite sure what it reminded me of, but I'm pretty sure I'll figure it out once I'm not half asleep. I like it. I think it's good. It's not gonna win. It's not gonna. Well, it might bother the top 10. I mean, who thought Alpha was gonna make the top 10 last year with a song composed by zero Italians? So who knows? But I like this. I like this.
I have made the joke in the chat recently that like Sanremo is getting so Eurovisionified that we might in the future see the orchestra conducted by Tommaso G. Filio.
It's
Let's
true
move
But
though.
on.
I don't think anyone got it though.
It's true. It's true. And even the camera cuts, like there were some Sacha Jean-Baptiste.
There was some lovely visual effects going on tonight, and some not
Uh,
very lovely visual effects.
I don't know. I like when
It's
I
only
watch
Effe.
Sanremo, I'm in the camp where I believe Sanremo is better than a national final, and in some years it was better than Eurovision. So to see the Eurovisionification of Sanremo, I'm not ready for it.
Well, let's go back to Bresh and let's score his song out of 10. Shaun?
It's a fresh 7.
It's a 7 for me as well. Nick?
Pleasant, but really uninteresting. 4.
Okay. Joe?
I likened this to an album track by Pinguini Tattici Nucleari. I've given it an 8.
Ooh.
26 for Bresh. Sara Toscano is up next with Amarcord. Now, Sara is the youngest participant, if I'm not mistaken, in this year's Sanremo, and she also took part in writing this song. And when I was listening to it, like I was just thinking, like, what a song it actually is, because it's such a great tune. It's like very upbeat, it builds up really nicely. Plus, like, there's such power in her voice, and it all just like came together, and it was like really impressive. She isn't moving so much on stage during the performance, but like she doesn't have to. She still, like, I felt like she still owned that stage, and I really really hope that like she does well, because she would absolutely deserve like a great result in this year's Sanremo. And I feel that like this is again like one of those songs that it might only get better like with the more listens as the week goes on. It's not like entirely my cup of tea, and it's not like entirely the type of music that I personally listen to, but I was still like very very impressed with this, and as mentioned before, I really hope that she does well. And with that, I'm gonna give this one an 8. Nick?
Yeah, a really surprisingly good debut. But as you said, showing them a lot of inexperience and as you know, a lot to learn. But on the song alone, 8.
Joe?
Very nice lyrics with some very high culture references didn't do justice to the fact that her performance was just a bit off. So sorry, but I'm giving it a 4.
Sean?
Don't worry, it's just Joe. I gave it a 7.
And that is 27 for Sara Toscano. Joan Thiele is up next with Echo. Joe?
Okay. I mean, the first note I've just got about this one is just bam bam whoa. But I think that
Okay.
really, I think that just kind of sums up the performance. Really, no, I do have more comments, but like, yeah, this was kind of a weird one. Like we had tonight really was kind of the renaissance of the guitarists at Sanremo. Like we had a lot of lead singers who play guitars, and you know, Joan no doubt is has a lot of sort of singer songwritery sort of talent, but I don't know how I don't know why, but like she kind of gave the vibe of like a TikTok influencer who sort of buys anything with the word unicorn in it, but like at the same time is coming across as quite a talented musician. Like she has a great voice. The song itself was quite a sort of a cutesy live lounge style that Jen like she just did like a dirty scratch of the fret and it just turned into like this dark rock song for about 4 bars, and then it just goes back to the serene sort of live lounge stuff. Like it was quite classy, but it just didn't really have that sort of standout quality that I think you needed after 25 other acts. And by the point when you were kind of you know stuff was going on in your head and you were just thinking about pasta, like it was as if she's like it's like if Emma Maroney and the Shadows had a daughter. I think we'll see more of her in the future, though.
Haven't heard pasta in the last half hour. So
I know.
drink, guys.
As much as I love to take the mickey out of you, Joe, I love hearing what you have to say when you're so poetic about things. Like I could listen to these monologues all day. I swear to God, but I promise. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. Get me on the Arison
Joe B for
stage.
president.
Get me 20 minutes.
Give him a 20-minute time slot, and the rating will be
Carlo,
humbling.
I think we're back
calling
to
you.
the Joe B for president time.
Maybe not president, but Speaker of the House. We need a Speaker of the House.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Well, Speaker of the House, Echo out of 10.
It's a 6.
Sean?
7.
For me, it's going to be a 5. Nick?
Pasta. It was pasta at its best. A 4.
We've got a pasta quota in for the next 5 minutes.
I did.
Rocco Hunt is up next with Mille volte ancora. Sean?
Well, I'm really happy to see Rocco Hunt back. It's been so long since we last had him. I think 2016 was his last participation, so 9 years. But we did see him on the stage with Anna Mena in 2022. And it was like I wish he marked his presence back on Sanremo with a little bit more of stage presence. I like the song. I think the song needs time to grow on me with Clara, apparently. Um, yeah, I like it. I'm a little bit like I'm doing half a reaction here because I haven't listened to his songs lately. He hasn't been releasing that many songs like alone. It's usually been with Elettra Lamborghini or some of these. Well, I don't consider them trashy, but Italians consider artists like Anna Mena and Elettra Lamborghini quite trashy, and I personally love them. But yeah, it's a good song. It was giving me a bit of Rio de Janeiro. He likes to do that. I like it. If I'm dropping a score, it's probably my highest. Like I think I've given about 10 sevens. This is what my highest seven.
Okay. For me,
Oh,
this is going to be
we're going with an Nadal voting system there. It's a very high
apparently.
7.
For me, this is going to be an 8 because this is sort of the kind of rap that I like in Sanremo, unlike the one that Shablo and company brought us that we discussed earlier, but it still didn't reach like the levels of, for example, Eden or Mai Dire Mai. So for me, it's an 8. Nick?
The song was pretty good, but the live performance was so bad I had to give it a 5.
Joe?
I love that like so many people are using local dialect this year because of the Jolia effect. This was nice. I'm giving it a 7.
That is 27 for Rocco Hunt. Second to last performing tonight was Francesca Michielin with Fango in Paradiso. Nick?
I'll be up front. I don't really like Francesca. I've never been a fan.
What did
Yeah,
she do to you?
she hasn't done anything personally to me. I just don't like music. I mean, let's face it, her best moment at Sanremo was when she was conducting, and I'll be happy to see her back as a conductor. But as for her songs, they're just not for me. And
What was wrong with Chiamami per nome?
what was right with it? It's just
Get them from all the angles this time, aren't you, Nick?
Sorry,
it's just-
Nick.
I've used the phrase "run of the mill Sanremo," and she's that to a T. You know, she's vaguely interesting. She has vaguely good songs that she vaguely performs well. But again, this is just you know, I just don't get the appeal of it. And I mean, at least this is one that the press didn't fawn all over this time, probably because even they can say, you know, this was just a very average song, and I can only just give it more average rate, you know, an average review for an average song from an average singer. Sorry.
She did not break her leg for this.
I was just about to say, I'm waiting for him to say the most interesting thing was her crutches. But the press don't usually check in for Francesca Michielin. Even when she had the televote winner in 2021, the press hated it. And that's why I say the press has very, very weird voting in Sanremo. But this one, yeah, I have to agree with Nick. The song is not her best. And I don't know why she entered it. She had album songs in 2023, which were much better than this, in my opinion.
Fango in Paradiso, out of 10. Nick?
An unsurprising 4.
Joe?
I like this. It was an 8.
Shaun?
It was late.
Calm down, boys. I'll make a compromise. It's a 6.
I'll second that compromise. It's a 6 for me as well. And last but not least, we have the Kolors and Tu con chi fai l'amore. Joe?
Questa non è Ibiza, questa è Mykonos. Like, why would you, why would you make us wait all night for this absolute masterpiece, Italy? Like,
Save the best for last.
Yeah, but they don't do that. I was crying into my pasta after like 28 songs at this point, and then we finally get like this sort of whatever this like cheesy as anything. Like you know I love slap bass. You know I love to be transported to like a Miami Vice police car chase when I listen to especially Eurovision songs. But like I'd say that's just kind of my music taste, really. There was, you know, a soup song of sequin charming that, you know, I think the lyrics are probably awful, like if you read them, but like every inch of the performance was just so brilliant that I didn't care. You know, his voice is a little bit messy around the edges, but to be honest, I was bopping along to it, and you know, I had this sort of, had this flashback to Turin as well. Like he had that really silly sort of like Cornelia Jacobs, like 1920s plug-in microphone that like none of the stage hands could work. Like it was all very. I don't know what style they were going for here, but like Jerry got it right at the end when they just left the stage and he said, "I love you, I love you." Like I want to worship these guys. I'm actually going to see them when they come to London next month at the O2 Academy in Islington. I'm obsessed with everything they do at the moment. Ever since Italo Disco, they've just not put a foot wrong, and this continues that trend.
I agree. This was absolutely amazing, and I do say that like they definitely saved the best for last this time. I also love almost everything that the Kolors do. Un ragazzo, una ragazza was a little bit, I don't know, a little bit weaker than this song. It was also super fun, but this is even more. It might not be as catchy as the other song was. However, it was super fun. It was amazingly performed. Their stage presence is brilliant, and I don't know, I like that trick with like the old microphone, and also like I didn't mind his vocals being a little bit off here and there, because the entire performance was just like so fun, so engaging. I was also like vibing to it from like literally the first moment onwards. And this is definitely going to be one of the songs from this year's Sanremo that I'm going to put on my playlist and I'll happily listen to it for like the coming months or like the coming years. And I'll also be looking forward to like what other music they're going to release like in the future once again, because I've been their fan ever since like they first competed in Sanremo with Frida. So I'm always very excited about their entries. Exactly, yeah.
Beat me to it.
The Kolors out of 10. Joe?
This is the easiest 10 I have given all night. What a tune.
Shaun?
I'm not as optimistic about it as you guys. Plus, I think they really need to calm down on the lip fillers. It's a 7.
I'm with Joe on this one. This is going to be a 10 for me. Nick?
Yeah, it's going straight onto my Spotify as well. These guys just don't do any wrong. They're fantastic, and it's just a great performance and a great song. So a 9.
Except the lip fillers.
I have no comment on the lip fillers.
The favorite of the four of us is the Kolors, who scored 36 points. Giorgia is in second place with 34. And then we have a tie between Elodie and Simona Brancale for third place with 33. Clara completes our top 5 with 32 points. Let us know, guys, who your personal favorites are in this year's Sanremo in the comment section down below. And also let us know whether you agree or whether you disagree with any of our thoughts and opinions. And also correct us on anything that we might have said, especially Nick. Subscribe to our channel to be up to date with all of our upcoming videos. There's going to be a couple more reaction videos like this one. There's going to be a whole bunch of interviews coming up with both national final artists as well as with Eurovision artists. And there's going to be some other Eurovision material that we're preparing for you, and we're going to be publishing it very soon. Thank you guys for joining tonight, and thank you all for watching, and we're going to see you very soon with our next video. Bye, everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.